Hi, this is Cheryl Brady, and welcome to Designs by Cheryl B. Today I'm going to be making herbal French bath bags. So let's get started. Right now, as you can see, I have already made my mix up, and this is going to be a citrus blend. It's got hand milled soap, shavings, dried organic citrus peel, and oatmeal. And I just mix all that together. I also have prepared a peppermint mix, a rose mix, and a lavender mix. Those are ready to go when I get to them. I'm starting with the citrus. I've already made a few bags. Right now I'm just getting them bagged up. And what you want to do is, if you're going to give them as gifts or sell them, then you want to pick some pretty materials. Now, you can't get a material that's too porous because the little herb crumbs will fall through the holes in the material. Like, I was considering this tool, but the holes are too large. So I'm just using some pretty lacy materials that don't have very large holes in them. Um, Cheesecloth is good. Most people use cheesecloth, but I never seem to have any, and I like to make them prettier. So I just use whatever I have on hand that's lacy and pretty. To this particular size, I'm using a material square of 7 by 7, and I'm adding about 3 tablespoons of the mix, and these are made to go in the bath or shower. You could toss them under running water, and they're also great for scrubbies because each one with its particular herbal blend along combined with the oatmeal are really good for your skin. They're softening and they're healthy. Okay, I'm just finishing up the batch of peppermint, and my peppermint was very finely ground, so it has a lot of shake, and the material that I selected for it didn't work out. So I had to find something that was a little more porous, and I got this piece of fabric. Um, it's probably vintage, and it's kind of maybe a waste on something that's disposable, but it's not something I would use on any other projects really, so I'm going to go ahead and try it, and hopefully it'll make a good bath ball. So I'm just tying them right now with a twist tie until I get them all done and get ready to finish them up. In the past, I've done these with fancier ribbons, but they are just going in the bath, so you may want to consider that in your selection. Today, I'm just going to use a country twine because these are kind of a French country look that I'm going for. So I'm going to try this twine today. Okay, I've got 2 bags tied off. I've got the lavender mix tied off. Once you put your twine or your ribbon on, then you just go ahead and pull your twist ties off. So double check yourself, make sure you got all the twist ties off. And they're starting to take shape now. They're starting to look really pretty. These are so wonderful in the tub to soak and to use as scrubbies. So got the citrus done and the lavender done, and then I've still got the rose and peppermint. I'll do a separate tutorial on how to make the mixes, but there are a lot of recipes on the internet. Also, you can, just mix together what you like, or what your friends like. Just be sure to do your research because a lot of herbs aren't skin friendly, so you want to make sure that the herbs that you're using are going to work with people's skin. I remember when I first started working with herbs about 30 years ago, I thought that cinnamon bars for men would be a really nice soap. I didn't realize that cinnamon is itchy and too abrasive to the skin. So, lesson learned, and that was decades ago. So do your research. I will say that on the citrus mix, what I do is I grind my orange peels in my food processor so that it's crumbly, and then I dry it. If you try to dry it and then crunch it up, it's too hard. So you want get your crumbles first, and then dry it. So anyway, now I'm on to the next batch to put my ties on, and I'll be back. So I'm still working on the ties, and I've got the rose mix tied now. I also wanted to say that I rely totally on the herbs and ingredients in my mix for the scent. So I do not add any oils. The fragrance comes from the dried ingredients, whether it's roses or lavender or mint or the citrus. If you do add oils to your herbal bags, be sure that they are top grade essential oils that are designed for topical use upon the skin. Make sure that you're not using accidentally something that's only a fragrance oil, because those are not designed for use on the skin. So I just wanted to throw that in, because some people might consider putting oils into the herbal bags. Okay, I've got them all tied up, all 4 mixes. And I just wanted to say, of course, that you can use any materials that work, as long as it's porous enough for the juices to get through the material. As you can see, I have a little bit of shake, and like I said earlier, that's normal. But if your herbs or powder is just pouring out, then the material's too porous. So but like I said, I was going for a French country theme. You could do anything that you wanted to do. You could even do some themed for children, or it depends on if you're going to give them away or as gifts, or if you're going to sell them. If you're just going to use them at home, then obviously you won't want to follow the next step, which is I'm going to make little gift cards, gift tags for each one. So I'll be back shortly with the cards. Okay, I have gotten everything done and decorated, so I'll just go over briefly what I did for the decorations. Where we left off was I was finishing up filling the bags with the herbal filler. So I got that done, and I used the 4.5 by 9-inch, I think, cellophane treat bags. You can package them any way you want, and obviously if you're at home you may not want to. You just store them in a pretty jar. If you're going to sell them or gift them, though, you might want to do some nice packaging to kind of go with the ingredients to match. That's what I tried to do. I wound up redoing the peppermint. I had them in this. I didn't like it. It wasn't working with peppermint. So I put them in. So I did find some smaller poured tool that would allow for less shake coming out, and so I used that. So I sell mine by a half a dozen per bag, so each bag has a half a dozen, and I stacked them in twos in the bag. Then I made my cards and put my cards in the bag. This is the citrus. And so I wanted to continue with the French country theme. I didn't really have the colors of ribbons that I wanted, so I just cut my own ribbons out of the material that I was using, and that's nice. It gives it kind of a rough-edged look, but it's still got the lace, so tying in with the French country theme. On this one, I used one of the dried oranges that I make along with the citrus that's in, dried citrus that's in the herbal bags. So I use that for a decoration. I tied them first with a twist tie, and then I added my bows and such. And if you're going to hot glue anything on the decorations, be sure to do it in a manner that it'll come off easily, because they have to be able to untie it and tie it back. So that's the citrus. This is the peppermint, French country peppermint. Ideally I would have rather put peppermints on here, like some candy canes, and did a more of a Christmas theme, but I don't have any candy canes yet, so I might do that again closer to the holidays. But I did match, this is the tool I wound up going with the peppermint, so I did match the decoration to that. And I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see the little dots on the bags. Okay, this is the rose, and again, I made my card, a rose card, and put in there, and I cut my bows, just strips of lace, and I added a silk rose to the packaging. And lastly, the lavender. Um, you've seen the lavender bags, and then I attached a silk piece of lavender flower along with a matching card. So there they are, and just think we came from a few scraps of material and a pile of herbs into these beautiful gift packages that you can sell or put in your shop. I do want to add a couple of things on the strings, on the ties, on the herbal bags. Some people will use a long string with a loop so that you can loop it, hang it from the faucet. Honestly, that doesn't work, and it takes a lot of extra time to make. You can try, but I never got it to work because the water pressure just knocks it out from under itself, so you wind up holding it anyway, or you can just toss it, you know, in the tub. So also on the storage of these, um, once you get them in their packaging and decorated, you still need to store them in airtight jars, not bags, jars, like a big something like that glass jar there, or something where the air won't get to them, because your herbs will dry out, they will lose their scent if you don't store them properly. And of course you need to let your recipient or customer know the same thing, that even if they leave them in the packaging, they can still need to put them in some kind of airtight, preferably a jar situation, so that the herbs will stay nice and fresh. And if you do keep them in a jar, they'll stay fresh for as long as you keep them in that jar. So yeah, so store your herbs properly so that they'll have a nice long life. Okay, well, that's it. That's it for this video on how to make the French Country herbal bath bags. And of course, again, you can use any theme, any colors, anything that you can imagine. So they make beautiful gifts, and they're fun to make. It is pretty much an all-day project. I'll do another tutorial on the next time I make a batch of the filler. I already had it made, and it's best to let it cure for at least a couple of weeks before you use it, so that the scents blend and soak into the oats and whatever other ingredients you might be using. So anyway, I'm sorry about the bad lighting. I hope to get some better lighting, but thanks for joining me. And if you don't want to mess with making these yourself, they can certainly be purchased in my Etsy shop, which will be in the link below. This is Cheryl Brigham with Designs by Cheryl B.